Excelsior Now podcast.
Excelsior!
What is shaking, people? It's your boy Doom Killer HD, and welcome to a special episode of Excelsior Now podcast. Sit back and relax. You are now rocking with the best. And today we have a very special guest co-host in the building right now. My guy, my dude, Mr. High Ruler.
What is up? What's going on, Doom? What's going on, everyone in the chat? How's everyone doing? Doom, I appreciate you, bringing me in for this. Really do appreciate getting a chance to sit down with you and Sean today and having some fun, man.
Man, this is about to be some fire, dude. Sean is already that guy. Y'all already know this. And he has voiced our very own Spider-Man. So I'm excited, stoked to introduce the one and only Sonic Mega, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the spectacular Spider-Man, and the amazing Spider-Man all rolled into one. Let's go.
Hey, everyone. Dang, I was watching that intro and I was like, do I belong here? Like, this is funny. No, like, I do streaming on the side as well, although it's pretty much more of a hobby thing than a professional thing because voiceover keeps me so busy, God bless. But, because I don't do Twitch streaming as a full-time thing, I have, like, the starting Stoon screen, and then, like, at some point it just disappears, and then it's just suddenly me. You're like, all right, let's get this podcast on. Boom. Boom. Like I was half expecting like Snoop Dogg walking. This is Snoop Dogg, and you're watching the Doom Killer HD podcast. Let's go. Let's get it started.
Honestly, it's crazy. I'm like the same as you. Like I just have like a basic starting screen. I use like some DMCA free music. I'm totally with you on there because like. Yeah, Doom kind of blows it out of the water. There.
I would just have my stream would end up just having like a kazoo cover of a vaguely Star Wars-esque like.
I cannot right now.
It's the Sean Shiplock podcast featuring your boy.
Let's go. Sean, this should be probably one of the funnest interviews you get to do. It's not going to pry too much into personal life. It's just letting it get our little community over on Marvel's Avengers to know the man behind the mask. You know what I mean? So we're just going to ask you.
The best part is with this heat wave going on, you're going to get to see my face turn the same shade of red that his costume has in the game. It'll be like I'm actually cosplaying as Spider-Man himself.
Man. Hey, the more the merrier, boss. Like, whatever, I'm good.
You know what they said? With great sunlight comes great heat stroke.
Yep, that's it.
Doom, are you going to survive this? Like, highs rolling with it. You're just going to be over here.
Oh my god!
Usually it's like the other way around, but I don't think Doom's gonna make it through this one today. I think at some point he's gonna right before Fire or Trash. I think Doom's gonna just keel over, and that's it.
I think my stomach is already hurting. This doesn't happen until midway through the podcast, and you've already okay. First we give you two softball questions, and then we like to stage prop. Bring out some popcorn. So you'll see a bunch of popcorn in the chat. And that's when it gets a little bit, I ain't going to say real.
You might want to put on an extra helmet, some knee pads, because of how hard I'm hitting these T-balls back, you might end up with a concussion at this rate.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Dude,
I know she is loving this. They love to see me squirm, Sean. They love to see what you're doing to me right now. They love this. So, yeah. Okay, boss. Who is Sean Shiplock?
Oh man, God, who knows at this point? Like, I spend so much time pretending to be other people. There's some nights where I have to remind myself, like, what am I? What do I like eating? Like, what am I in the mood for tonight? Well, my name is Sean Shiplock. I always was a huge video game fan growing up. Like, the first console I ever owned was a Nintendo Entertainment System before I even had a Game Boy. And I've run the whole gamut. I used to have an Xbox. I was a PS Vita kid for a while. Wow. So I've always I know all the consoles that Sony wants dead. So You know, I can't even say that's a lie because they recently published their lifetime sales of all of their consoles and then explicitly excluded the Vita. Like they included the PSP but didn't include the Vita. So like
they did the Vita so dirty though, right? Because those were the ones you had to buy the proprietary memory cards or whatever. Like you couldn't
like format.
So
Meanwhile, I just spent 2 hours transferring all my data over to a 1 terabyte memory card for my Nintendo Switch. That thing is good to go for the rest of its lifespan. Anyway, that's besides the question. So I always grew up being a huge fan of video games. As you might be able to tell, I've always had a naturally high level of energy. And it was by sheer luck that I happened to discover voice acting fairly late into my high school career. And it instantly captivated me. Just this idea of getting to portray all of these different characters, explore all of these different worlds, you know, do things that are either extremely difficult or straight up impossible to do, possibly because of legal reasons, in real life, and get paid for it on top of all of that. So it's as someone with a very active imagination, it was just a natural fit to be able to explore all of this. And I graduated college while studying things that would be relevant to that career. I knew that the major hub was out here in Los Angeles, so I moved out almost immediately after I graduated. And I worked a graveyard shift for an entire year to build up funds. I actually worked so much overtime that I started falling asleep during my regular shifts, and they banned me from working overtime for a period of time because I was so high risk of falling asleep at the job from exhaustion. But that helped me get a safety net to where I decided to try voice acting full time. And things immediately started building up after that. And I'm just grateful to say I've been doing it professionally and full time ever since then for about 15 years at this point since I first started. I mean, I'm still a baby in the industry in terms of, you know, how long you've got folks working for decades in there. But considering what I've managed to do in 15 years of being in this career and only 10 years of living out in California, suffice it to say, I'm pretty proud of the progress that I've made, even though I'm aware there's a lot of learning still left to do.
That's what you call dedication, people. You heard the man. He said he worked a full
That's what you call
year.
That's what you call putting all your eggs in one basket. Because let me tell you, if I were to suddenly lose my ability to do voice acting, I don't have a lot of things I can fall back on. So
you can come co-host Excelsior with me, bro, and we would be good.
That's right. After I kill you with my jokes, High Ruler, let me know when the opening officially posts.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. We'll be in touch.
Yes, indeed. How many characters have you voiced over your 15-year career, boss?
Oh my God. Oh no. I'm not saying that. I'm not doing that in like an effort to brag. Like when people are like, "What have people heard you in?" You know, what would they have to look up if they wanted to know what you voiced? And I'm the one that has to load my IMDb or my BTVA because I don't even know anymore, man.
He's like, I don't know, bro.
Just recently, you said you're a part of Lost Ark as well, right? Like that's just like a recent
right.
thing?
And I emailed them twice saying, "Hey, can you remind me who I voice in that so that like I can no because I'm someone who like whenever when I voice someone in the game, I like to show a visual of the character if it's possible so that people know who to look for. Right. But they never got back to me, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just have to go with the backup, which is I am people."
I'm somewhere in there.
If you go in the game, there are folks who talk, and there is a non-0% chance that it will be me. So good luck, you know. Well, my my BTVA says I have 174 roles between video games and anime. My IMDb says I have, it's pretty close, about 177. So, you know, now you can play the super fun game of what are the 3 that BTVA forgot about. But I think that's pretty cool. You know, it's just this idea that as a single person, I have managed to encapsulate up to 174 different roles, personalities, you know, some within the same project. You think of like Revali, Teba, and the Great Deku Tree in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 3 very distinct characters all in the same project. I just think it's really cool to think about.
That's fire, bro. Well, chat, I need to see him in the stream chat right now. Go ahead and throw the popcorns in there because you know what time it is. Popcorn time. Well, we've given you 2 softball questions, so we kind of want to make you think a little bit. Mr. Chiplock, Mr. Spider-Man.
Oh, I see. The asking me who I was not a softball question. That's actually pretty true. From an existential standpoint, I would not consider that a softball question. Sean, who are you?
Who are you, Sean? What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, just like literally just make that the entire interview where it's like, all right, first question, Sean, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm a voice actor. Second question, Sean, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean? Third, no, that's fine. We'll move on. Third question, what are you doing?
What?
And then eventually you got to go like the, oh no, baby, what is you doing? Like,
oh no, baby, what is you doing? What is you doing?
And
hell no.
What? Oh my!
Where
goodness.
am I right now? I was supposed. Okay, popcorn. What the?
I think Doom's gonna choke on the popcorn here any second now.
And then finally, and then at the very end, you're like, all right, Sean, one last question. Are you done?
Are you done yet? Are you finished?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. What is the most frustrating character you have voiced?
Oh man.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this isn't a cop-out, but there are different tiers of frustrating. There's like frustrating in terms of understanding a character. There's frustrating in terms of doing the performance of a character. And then I would assume there's frustrating in terms of like after the role is done and like the audience feedback. So there's different answers. The frustrating in terms of understanding the character would absolutely have to be Rivali from Breath of the Wild. Like that was the first time, people love to, by the way, in terms of language, is this PG-13? Is this R-rated? Like, what is this?
Man, it's BU, Sean.
All right. So, a lot of people like to say, oh my God, Rivali is such an asshole. He's such a jerk. And that was true even as an actor trying to understand the character. What a lot of people don't know is, as you play the game, you see all these background cutscenes, you figure out the fact that this took place, 100 years in the past. And then especially with the DLC that would later come out, that explained so much about the world before the calamity and like how they interacted with each other. But that's all info that I didn't have access to when I was recording the original game. And so as me in the booth, only having, occasional cutscenes to look at and mostly just a wall of text and a script in front of me, it was very hard to parse that information. And so it was frustrating me that I didn't immediately grasp, where is this happening in time? What is Rivali doing? Does he know him? Is he dead yet? Like what is going on? And because I loved this character so much, I was so focused on giving them a performance that they deserved, not to mention the pressure that it was the first canon voiced Zelda game since the later unofficial CDI games. And so as someone who grew up during that era, I knew full well that this was going to be the deciding factor. And if people actually gave voiced Zelda games a chance, or if they were like, this is stupid, why did they ever try this again? Rivali was one of the first characters, I think actually the first, to actually drive me to tears, where when we were taking a break during the recording session, I actually called my mentor and broke down over the phone being like, I don't know if I'm going to give this character the performance that he deserves. I already know that he was recast once. My apologies to whoever it was that had it to begin with. I don't want to be the second failed, or not a failed attempt. I want to be the second person that they burn through trying to get just the right voice for this character when I already enjoy him so much. And so I'm glad that it worked out, but God, the emotion, it was such an emotional toll on me trying to clue into that character. Frustrating.
You survived it though, and it came out the way you wanted it.
And ironically, he became one of the strongest characters in my portfolio, because the more that I came back to voice him for stuff like the DLC, or especially for Age of Calamity, the easier it became to lock back into his character personality, to the point where by the time Age of Calamity came around, like I was in it, man. I just like could clock in, I could switch between the two. I don't know if either of you have played Age of Calamity or played any of the DLC that came out for it. But there is a scene that happens between Revali, Teba, and Tulin. So literally, I am talking to myself, you know, as Revali and Teba. And it's one of the strongest performances that I've done for both characters, where I'm just flipping between these two voices effortlessly. And if you listen to that scene, you would have no idea it was the same person doing two of those voices.
Wow.
In terms of frustration for performance, it would definitely have to be Noob Sidebot from Noob. All right, but here's the reason. So to do a voice like that, like I'm not going to pretend it's a unique voice that only I can do. Anyone can do it if they understand how to constrict their throat. You're closing up your throat and opening up your chest. So what happens is you have a large volume of air going through a very tiny space. And what creates sound is your vocal cords are vibrating, and the intensity, the width at which they're vibrating, like how much of it is touching each other, that's what affects our pitch and the gravitas. So like, you know, if you have people that have a very gravelly voice, there might be, you know, air bubbles or something trapped in there, and it's just creating this extra texture when you're creating with your voice. So when you have a lot of air with a very tight space, it creates this very deep rumble that sounds very demonic. All right. Well, here's the problem. What is something besides what is something when it comes to fighting game voiceover performances that is very common to you? I'm going to see if you guys immediately clue into it. When it comes to fighting game voiceover performances, what can you expect to hear?
A loud, deep, like maybe like a gotcha sound, like, you know, like not a gotcha sound, but you know what I mean, like finish him, or you know what I mean?
Or like when they take a super strong hit and there's a cry out of pain,
Oh!
or especially like at the very end of Street Fighter, ooh, you know, like that echoing thing. Well, all of those, when you make those noises, what are you doing with your throat? Your mouth is wide open, your throat is wide open. So now imagine having to do a great cry out of pain or a loud shout of an attack while constricting your throat to speak it's two completely different worlds. Because like, you know, any other character would be like, ha! You know,
right.
And Noob Saibot would be like, like it doesn't sound like good at all. So how do you create a noise that sounds intimidating as someone who literally embraces the darkness while not making it sound pathetic and quiet and weak? And that, oh my God, that was hell in a handbasket to try and figure out. You know, you're playing around with your voice, you're damaging it the whole time. Like, I would go through at least 6 or 7 bottles of water for every 2-hour session of that. And I would still have to put myself on vocal rest for a day or two after that because of how much, like, stress it would put your throat through. Yeah, so that was definitely the most frustrating in terms of performance.
Remind me never to get into voice acting because that's too much, boss.
And then I think frustrating in terms of after the role was done would have to actually be season 1 of ReZero. I don't know if you guys are big fans of anime by any chance.
We love anime here.
Okay, are you familiar with ReZero?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
I think there's some people in chat who were.
All right. Well, for people in chat might know this anyway. But for you two, ReZero was probably one of the smash hit anime of 2017. By which I mean, like, it was extremely popular in Japan. It was, you know, it was, the performances in Japanese were so good it actually launched the voice actors for Rem and Subaru into stardom in Japan.
Wow.
And it was geared up to be a very anticipated release over here in America. It was also my first lead role in an anime in my entire career. However, because of various circumstances concerning like licensing rights and the DVD release and some quality control issues, basically this first season of this anime, which the entire cast is extremely proud of, gets released and then just disappears into the aether in terms of marketing, in terms of audience response. My personal theory is there might have been some office politics because the company responsible for licensing and distributing it was different from the company that was responsible for dubbing it. And it just so happened that these two companies are like the biggest rivals in the industry when it comes to right. So I'm not saying that is the reason. I'm saying that's my personal theory as to what contributed to it. But we were so proud of all the work that we did. And then as soon as it was supposed to release, it was just like, gone. But thankfully, you know, it came back for a second season. You know, everyone that was interested in the second season went back to play to watch the first season. You know, its popularity spiked back up. So we had that chance to celebrate, but it just sucked that it was something that I was so excited about and so proud of. And by and large, it just had no attention whatsoever compared to something like, you know, Demon Slayer, compared to something like Cowboy Bebop, compared to something like Gurren Lagann. It just wasn't even comparable. So.
Okay. All right. I got a good question for you, popcorn style. The most rewarding character you've ever voiced.
So there's these characters named Rivali and Teba in Breath of the Wild, and this character named Subaru Natsuki in ReZero, and this character, the most rewarding. Yeah. So people who have heard the interviews that I've done before will know what answer is coming up. For those of you who haven't heard this answer yet, congrats, you're the lucky 10,000th. This isn't this isn't the answer that you're expecting. I deal a lot with jealousy and envy. It's just as someone who's extremely passionate, as someone who likes being a part of things. You know, I've been told online that I have the energy of a golden retriever. You know, like I don't always know what's going on, but you can bet I'm going to be excited as hell to be there. So part of dealing or fighting back against the risk of jealousy and envy when it comes to seeing my colleagues and their roles and seeing the things that they land is being grateful for the things that I have a chance to do. And part of that is finding reasons to be excited about every role that I'm a part of. For example, I canceled my stream tonight that I was supposed to do after this interview because I'm still kind of recovering my throat. It's been worn out from what I was doing last week. Because there is a voiceover project that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And just from my understanding of the industry, just from my time in the industry and understanding what games tend to be popular, what shows tend to be popular, I don't think this project is going to end up being a particularly like famous entry. You know, it's not going to grab audiences by the horns and be like, you're going to love me, you know? Right. But the role that I'm doing is something that really interests me. And the director that I'm working with is someone that I haven't had a chance to work with very often, but I have consistently impressed in the past when I have worked with them. So for those two reasons alone, I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm taking the night off. I'm going to rest my throat. I'm going to relax because I want to do a really good job tomorrow for those two reasons. And so, you know, sometimes it's a role that's really big for me, like ReZero or Breath of the Wild. Sometimes it's a role that's the first time I ever got to do something that I've been dreaming about. Like when I voice Mamoru in this franchise called Mary Skelter, which is a dungeon crawler series. And even though Mary Skelter is not big by dungeon crawler standards compared to something like Etrian Odyssey, the fact was I got to voice a recurring character in one of my favorite genres of all time. And that was just the coolest shit to me, you know? So basically what this is all leading up to is every role is important to me for some reason. And that's either because it's very easy to find a reason why it matters to me, or I put in the extra effort to find a reason why it's important to me, both to keep myself humble so that I never find myself in a position where I just phone in a performance going, oh, you know, this is just whatever. It's going to release on this console. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to just do what they're asking for and get paid, you know? But it also prevents me from looking at what other people have accomplished and going, why can't I do something as cool as that? You know, why am I only getting these podunk roles? Why am I only working on these smaller titles? You know, let's be upfront. You know, I know that there are audience out there that think Marvel's Avengers is one of the weakest entries in a Marvel game franchise. Like, I'm not going to play dumb and pretend that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread to every single person that's ever seen it. However, just by looking at the audience here for this podcast, it's also clear that there are people for whom it's a great game. You know, it's something that it has characters that they love. It has bosses that they want to revisit. It's got raid content that they enjoy doing. Like maybe for them, if they're going to do a raid boss, they want to do it as a Marvel character, not as a Final Fantasy 14 character. So where is it in my place to decide how important a game is or isn't to everybody else, when my job at the end of the day should be to just do the best job that I can, so that for the people for whom this is an enjoyable experience can have the best experience possible. And so that's what it really boils down to. It's always going to be important to someone. And so the least that I can do is show that it matters to me as much as it matters to them.
Ooh, you just gave me some goosebumps, Sean. Gosh, man, that was powerful, boss. That was powerful, dude. Thank you for that. Like, seriously. Y'all in the chat, take heed to this man's words. Not only is he funny, he's actually brilliant. So peep out the game, guys. Peep out the game. Final question with your one-on-one with myself, sir. And this is a good question for our community. We are proud of you as Spider-Man. Like, if you were to go and watch my reaction of Spider-Man's debut and the part where you were like, Avengers Assemble.
By the way,
bad guys.
By the way, that was not in the script. I ad-libbed that. I ad-libbed that line. I am 100% serious. I was like, I want to try something, because he's one of those people that throw out quips, and I threw it out, and they're like, you know what? That passed the laugh test. So the fact that you love that line, you can rest assured knowing that was my creation that made it into
Bro, you did. Like, I kind of want to pull up my reaction now so you can see. It was like that part just sent me out. Like the whole trailer, I was like, oh, this is cool. When you dropped that line right there, I was like, yo! Headset went flying, bro. I was like, yes! Dude, yes. And
it is so quintessential Spider-Man, though, to take the famous phrase and then use it as part of like a smarmy quip towards the bad guy. Like,
bro, you did that, dude. Like, hats off, bro. Hats off, man. The question is, I'm sorry, that little line just gets me every damn time. I'm sorry, bro. Has joining the ranks of great Spider-Man actors like Yuri, for instance, and having those guys be like, welcome to the club. You did your thing, Sean. How does that make you feel as a voice actor? As a person, not even as a voice, as a person, dude. Like, seriously.
I mean, okay, so this isn't the answer that you're expecting. There is a lot of camaraderie in the voice acting industry, but at the same time, there's also a lot of isolation, and COVID certainly didn't help with that. For example, even if we had still been recording in studio, because I don't know if you guys knew this, but a lot of the recording for Marvel's Avengers for me actually happened at my home booth, which is over there. So anyway, but even if it had been in studio, we almost never record in the same room at the same time, unless it's for something like Western animation, where they're going to do what's called a loop group, where it's like everybody together. So we often don't see each other unless we make the distinct effort to socialize, which, given the overlap ratio of voice actors to introverts, is not very often. So what's actually really funny is I remember when I walked out of the audition, which was in studio, one of my colleagues was sitting out at the tables waiting for their turn to do the audition. And I said hi, caught up with them, walked off. And I remember going, man, they're going to do so great as Spider-Man in this project. Like, it was just because I know that they've played that type of role before. And I was like, they're going to kill it. They're going to do amazing. I'm so happy for them. I wasn't even upset. I was just like, yep, they're going to make a great Spider. So like when they reached out to me, I was like, Nani? What? Like, excuse me? Right? But it was also a huge source of pressure, because you think of people like, Yuri Lowenthal, like the de facto Spider-Man of the PlayStation 4 era. You think of whoever's voicing Spider-Man in Miles Morales when that came out. That has been out, right? Who do we know who voiced that?
In the movie, I'm sorry?
No, the game, the Spider-Man.
Oh, the game.
Spider-Man.
I hope I didn't just spoil something that wasn't supposed to be announced yet.
Oh no.
No. It
came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miles has been out for a while. Hold on.
Yeah.
Najee Peter. There we go. Najee Peter.
Perfect,
all right, we're good. We're good. I was like, oh God, I'm about to be blacklisted. Here we go.
That's it.
Thank you very much. but you know, and then of course we think of the MC universe in the movies. You know, that was also a huge inspiration when I approached the character. All these different great interpretations of Spider-Man, and here I am coming in be like, can I even, you know, chalk it up? Can I even match that kind of thing? And while it did lead to a more unique performance, again, I'm not going to play dumb. I know that not everyone's a big fan of it, especially with how high pitched it sounds at times. I also think that fear played into how I approached the character, because I realized at some point, I went, okay, well, how is this fear, uncertainty, and doubt that Sean Shiplock is feeling about rising up to the standards requested of him by the audiences, by the actors that played the Spider-Man before him? How is that any different from the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that Peter Parker as Spider-Man feels with all of the members of the Avengers needing him to step up to the plate when he's just this kid fresh out of college who hasn't even had a chance? You know, you were asking earlier, who are you, Sean Chiplock? You're like, think about that. You know, Spider-Man's going, who are you, Peter Parker? Like, what is your job in this world? Are you allowed to be a kid anymore, or are you just supposed to be Spider-Man? It also played into the fact that, like, when you're really nervous, when you're really insecure, when you don't want to come off as a threat, your voice is going to you're going to pull back. You're going to sound a little bit more nervous, a little bit higher, because you don't want anyone to think you're being aggressive. And you can hear just like that, like as I'm shirking back, my voice is naturally going a little bit higher. So, and that's just kind of what played into the character is, yes, he is someone who has to be strong, but there is a difference between being strong because you like to be, or you know that you are, and being strong because that's what's being expected of you. And so that nervousness, that youthfulness, those stupid, cheesy jokes are almost Peter Parker's way of holding on to what remains of his youthfulness before he just completely becomes someone like Captain America, who has no identity beyond being the savior of the people, you know?
Right.
So,
man, Sean,
what an answer!
Man, you are the man, dude. You are the man. We got a quick request from Mr. Fellhorn in the crowd. He said, "Can we get a spicy boys?"
Spicy boys. I am a spicy boy. No. Hold on. Let me grab something. Let me show you.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. We got this. We got this. All right. Let me explain to you how much of a spicy boy I am. So, my mom says she used to have to drink Tabasco sauce when she was pregnant with me for me to stop kicking her stomach. She said it was easier to drink Tabasco sauce than to figure out how to swallow a Game Boy to get you to shut up. But anyway, so I'm a big fan of fish and seafood in general, and I like making tuna for myself. I'm probably going to have it right after this interview, but I will always mix some of this. This is Ghost chili pepper salt.
Oh my god!
Crazy,
and I will pour this onto my tuna and mix it in, so it gives that little bit of a kick. But
a little bit of a kick, Sean.
Oh no! Here we go. This is called Z sauce. This has 4 million Scovilles of heat mixed into it, along with habanero peppers. Just saying that is making my mouth water. This is Black Mamba 6 hot sauce. This is 6 million Scovilles of heat. To give you guys a sample, or to give you guys an idea of the scale, a habanero, which is considered particularly hot, has about 150,000 Scovilles. This is 6 million. So multiply a habanero by 4, and then multiply that by 10. 40 times stronger. And I've had this before.
That's crazy.
So, I want to wash my hands just by touching the box, let me be honest.
Do you even have a tongue still?
Huh?
Do you even still have a tongue?
My tongue's still here. My rectum, however. You know, I just, I'm kind of like a goat where it just kind of falls out at will at this point.
My God.
Oh, jeez. People in chat are saying you should be on Hot Ones with what you're doing over there.
He would kill Hot Ones. That wouldn't even be a challenge
real.
for him. That wouldn't even be a challenge for Sean, man. Yo, let's real quick. We're gonna holler at the homegirl, Miss Queen. She's gonna give us a little bit of promo for the team, and then we will be right back with the people ask with Mr. High Ruler.
And family over everything, so DSG, he rocking it. World domination, baby, ain't nobody topping that.
Hey guys, Queen here, and welcome to the all-new, different DSG Block Party. Every Friday night, come rock with the best. Different games each Friday night, from Avengers to Destiny to Among Us and more. Join your favorite team playing some of the hottest games out there. So squad up with the DSG Block Party. This is your Doom Squad gaming brand ambassador, Gamer Nerd Queen, and you know the motto, let the good times roll.
Yo, Mr. Hot Ruler. I think it's time for you to step
Yes,
into the
sir.
captain's chair, good sir.
Oh
I
man,
will
been waiting for
move
this
myself
one.
down here.
Sounds
guys?
good. All right. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Sean, which I think you kind of answered, was a question from Spectral Triple Z on Twitter. And they asked, obviously, what was the hardest thing about voicing Spider-Man and how did you overcome it? And correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you kind of touched on that a little bit with your last little bit of an answer.
Yeah. So, obviously, overcoming that personal fear that I had was the first major step. Figuring out a way to make it the performance my own, rather than just copying the performances that I had seen from other actors, was the other factor. Also, when we're talking about vocal health, if I'm going to voice a character like Spider-Man, I need to make sure that my voice is clean, it's crisp. You don't want it to sound super squeaky, or it's gonna detract from that confidence that he has to have as a superhero. And vocal wear and tear is going to happen no matter what. We're talking all day. If you're shouting or screaming, it's going to wear down a lot faster. And so with a higher pitch voice like the one that I did for Peter Parker, you have to be very careful with what you do outside of the session, because if I come into a session with my throat worn out like this, and then I try to go up here, it's going to sound really strained. So it's almost a job outside of the job, where even when you're done recording, you got to gauge, how much you're allowed to talk, if you can do anything high energy, if you can be shouting, hooting, hollering, whatever. You have to make sure you stay hydrated, because the first rule of voice acting is that you should be drinking water, 24 hours before you're even performing in the first place.
Right.
Which is my reminder to everyone in the audience. Take a sip of your water right now, because I know you have it, because you're all smart.
So just really quick, because you touched on what my next question was going to be a little bit there. So Space Ghost on Twitter asks, what was your training regimen like while physically preparing for the role of Spider-Man? Did you do anything special for it? Or I guess you can even expand it out to any of your roles, right? Do you do anything special when it comes to like physically preparing?
Yeah, I was pissing spiders off left and right,
There
man.
you
Like
go.
I was just
There you
sticking my
go.
fingers in webs. I was getting bit. It took a couple dozen hospital visits. I never got the powers. It was unfortunate. So I had to do my backup plan of watching Spider-Man material and getting in touch with myself. But preparation, some of it is before, like it's the vocal warm-ups, it's doing the raspberries, the opening your throat up. But in the session, it's really just about getting your head in the right space. And when you have enough experience, when you've done it enough times, it can become muscle memory, where there's not really any special regimen, because if you're genuinely interested in that role, if you're interested in exploring that world, it's going to be easier to convince yourself you are that person, you are in that place, you are in that scenario. And then you just do whatever you want to do to get into that headspace. A very common trope is, puffing out your chest if you need to speak like a superhero, because adopting that body pose is going to help convince you that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, sometimes it was, just taking a certain stance. Like if Spider-Man is surveying the situation, if he's making a dumb quote or something like that, maybe he's got his hands on his hips because he's just like taking a step back and observing everything that's happening. If he's, about to be in the middle of combat, maybe I'll have my hands up in front of me like I'm getting ready to shoot a web at any moment or something like that. So it's all about doing whatever is most effective for you to be able to play pretend and say, yes, this is what's happening, this is who I am.
Okay, interesting. So let me bridge that to something you said a little bit earlier, which is obviously when you play Spider-Man, obviously you're aware of all these different adaptations of Spider-Man. So a lot of the questions that we got was, do you take any influences from not just other Spider-Man, but like other roles that you've kind of done in your history? And do you bring any of that influence into something like Spider-Man or something else that you're doing? Like, how do you kind of go from like maybe the headspace of one character to another, but still bringing a little bit of that with you?
Oh, absolutely. Any role in voice acting, as if you're doing it consistently, is going to reach a point of, okay, what is familiar about this character versus what is different. You know, I'm gonna jump tack for a second to give a good example. A lot of people know me as Reen Schwarzer from The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel, and a lot of people also know me as Kai Kiske from Guilty Gear Strive. Well, they're very similar characters in a lot of aspects. They are sword wielders. They are considered, you know, de facto leaders of the people that they look after. They harbor a great power that they need to master control of. But they're also different in how they handle it. For example, Reen is very scared of his power, while Kai Kiske is very in control of it. Like, he uses it as like a trump card. Reen tends to not be very focused on religion, whereas Kai could be seen as a little religious because he works for the Holy Order. So being able to make distinct choices for those characters was a matter of saying, okay, well, how are they similar? What elements of their personality are going to be the same in the voice? Well, what's different about them? How can I reflect that difference in the voice? Maybe Reen has a little bit more casual tone to his voice because he's less serious about his job, whereas Kai Kiske is very serious about what he's doing. So he's going to be, you know, he's going to have a harder stance. He's going to be more firm in his convictions and stuff like that. So with Spider-Man, you know, it was almost, it was a compare contrast not only among the rest of the Avengers, but among other hero type roles that I had played. So if we want to use an example of Peter Parker versus Subaru Natsuki from ReZero, you know, how are they similar? Okay. Well, they both feel like there's been a great responsibility that's been thrust upon them that they have to be in charge of. Another example is that they're relatively young. You know, they either were still in or just came out of schooling, so they really haven't had a chance to develop into fully functioning adults yet. Okay, well, what's different? Well, Subaru feels like, or at least for a while, felt like he was the protagonist. Like, it was his job to save everybody, and he kind of embraced that role. And it wasn't until season 2 that he realized he has to rely on his friends. Spider-Man not only doesn't feel like he's the right person for the job, he also is desperate to feel like he belongs. And he spends a lot of his time trying to test the waters and to figure out whether he's actually accepted as one of the Avengers or if they just see him for who he feels he is, which is just another kid that they need to daycare. So these are all little things that will lead to nuances in the voice that will help make it a distinct performance.
Okay, cool. So I know you said earlier that you're aware that there's some people who don't like your portrayal of Spider-Man, but for the people who do like your portrayal of Spider-Man, you know, one of the questions that we got was that, are you hoping to voice Spider-Man in other projects, or, you know, do you just see this as the chapter's been closed on your portrayal of Spider-Man across any media at this point?
A common saying is that a smart actor won't turn down work unless it violates one of 3 things: their morals, their ethics, or fair wages. All right. So no, for real. Like, obviously we're not going to want to undercut ourselves and hurt the future of the industry in terms of our worth, which I had to unfortunately do with a job recently because of how much they lowballed me. And then obviously I'm not going to want to voice for something that's, you know, derogatory, racist, sexist, you know, demeaning to people. There was a project I voiced in called High Rise Invasion, where I voiced someone that was on the verge of sexually assaulting someone. And the only reason I agreed to it is because, 1, they never actually got to that point, and 2, because before they did, they got shot in the head. So, so I was like, okay, that is something that I'm glad that the person doing something bad gets punished for it. So, but sorry, I derailed myself from the question.
No, you're good. You're totally fine.
I'm trying to remember. It was, has that chapter closed? So as long as the client feels like I would be a good fit for the character, I am more than willing to put the effort into giving the performance that they want from me, or to explore the character, or to bring what I can to the table. But that's also kind of like, it's another part of that keeping myself humble, you know, not letting myself give in to envy or to jealousy, is just understanding that clients at any time may choose to go in a different direction. You know, we could ask the same question of why didn't they just grab Yuri Lowenthal, you know, from the PS4 games? Why didn't they just go with someone that they used from the animated series? Why did they want to go with someone different? Could be creative direction. It could be, you know, the pricing that they have for somebody else. You know, it might be out of their budget. There's so many different factors that I will never have access to that information about. And so all I'm going to say is I'm going to keep doing the best job that I can. If the client feels that I'm the best fit for the job, then they'll cast me as the character. And if I am asked to come back as Spider-Man, then I'm going to continue to do the best job that I can to show why I was a good choice.
Perfect. Okay, so the last question is from Sidad the Gamer, and he's asking, what advice would you give to somebody that wanted to start voice acting right now?
So there's a common saying. I'm going to assume the person asking that question is talking about starting from like square one of like, I have not.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Right. So there's a common saying. I believe it was by Stephen King, which was, if you want to be a writer, you have to read. And in the same vein, if you want to be a voice actor, before you talk, you have to study. One of the most important things before you begin performing is that you understand what you are doing, why you are doing it, and what your goals are. And so before you even start performing in front of a microphone, I tell people to check out websites. I don't know if Doomkilla wants to write this out for me in chat because I'm going to be blazing through this. The first and foremost one that I recommend is iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Exactly how it sounds like it's spelled. And that is a blog site by D. Bradley Baker that covers basically every facet of the industry that you could possibly think of. And for those of you who don't know, D. Baker is the most prolific creature voice actor in the world. And I mean actively working creature voice actor. So he knows what he's talking about. And I would just read every single entry on that site that you can find. I recommend Voiceactingmastery.com, which is a podcast and workshop set offered by Crispin Freeman, who was a big inspiration to me. I took at least one or two of all of his workshops when I first moved out to California. But I believe he also does one-on-one sessions over programs like Skype as well. And then the third one that I recommend is voiceactingclub.com. Again, exactly how it sounds. This one is particularly special because back in the day, when I was but a wee amateur and my butthole hadn't been burned to a crisp by 6 million Scovilles of heat, I was an amateur on that site. And now a lot of the same people that were aspiring voice actors 10, 15 years ago are now the moderators and admins of that same exact forum and Discord group, helping to raise the next generation. So you've got that familiarity, you've got that longevity, you've got that family. And it's also a great resource for accessing independent animations, you know, college student projects, indie games. I'm sure there's at least someone in chat who's familiar with Freedom Planet. Freedom Planet's cast was found on Voice Acting Club. It wasn't done through like agencies or studios or stuff like that. The original cast was compiled through auditions held on that website. And so between those three, I tell people that the main thing you want to do is learn as much as you can about the industry so that you can start practicing good habits at the same time that you're starting to develop any habits at all. Because whatever you practice, whatever you do over and over and over, you're going to be really good at, even if it's a bad habit. If you practice a bad habit over and over, you're going to get really good at doing the wrong thing. So before you start performing, teach yourself as much as you can so that when you're finally ready to begin performing, to begin building those connections, to start preparing for a move to California or to Texas, to start building up your savings, you already have a better idea than most about what it is you need to do, and you can take the steps needed to achieve that.
Perfect. That honestly, I don't think there's a better answer. What, like, you know, you get it a lot of the time. It's like, how do I start doing this? Like, you gave like the most comprehensive answer that I think you can when it comes to like how to actually get your foot in the door, and then how do you do it the right way, you know?
It makes my job easier. You know, I have to often give that answer pretty often because not everyone's going to hear it each time I give it, but it kind of makes my job easier because if I give them all those resources, then it's up to them whether they make use of them. Because then if they're like, well, how do I do this? Check out the website. Well, what about
Yep.
this? Check out the website. Like, it's under the sauce. It's under the source. It's inside the source. So
Yep, exactly. And at that point, you're almost like teaching them to teach themselves at that point instead of giving them everything. Exactly.
right. At the end of the day, I'm more of a performer than I am a mentor. So I will give you the same access that I had for myself. But that also means you have to have the same drive and commitment to using it that I did for myself. I can't do that for you.
Right. Perfect. All right. I think that's all the questions we had for this part of the segment here. Appreciate you taking the time to answer those. All right, Doom, you're a little muted though. Just saying.
Yeah, I did that.
You're good. You're good.
Beautiful. I love it. Guys, you know what time it is. It is time for channel members' questions. Moderators, you are also allowed to ask questions as well. Sean, this is a segment where we just have channel members, guys who actually financially support the channel, help us move forward in the game, to ask you a few questions. It shouldn't be more than maybe 5 or 6 questions, though.
Okay.
So hopefully you're ready. We'll do a quick little promo real quick from our girl Spring, and we'll be right back, guys.
Hey guys, it's Spring, and I've got a question. Do you want to rock with the best? Well, here's how. Hulk smash that join button and become a member of the squad. Members help propel the Doom Squad forward in this process of content creation, live streams, watch parties, community nights, and giveaways. If you're wondering, well, what do I get for helping out DSG? Here's the cool part. Channel members get access to the members-only section of the Doom Squad Gaming Discord, where you get access to playtime with all the members, early access with no ads to Doom Killa's builds, news, and first impression videos, priority replies during live streams, Excelsior Now podcasts, the weekly wrap-up, and all live reaction events. One of the coolest benefits to becoming a member is the members-only giveaways. Get access to Marvel's Avengers credits, DSG gear, PlayStation and Xbox gift cards, and more. Join the channel now and become a member of the squad. This is Perry, your Doom Squad Gaming brand ambassador, and as Doom would say, let the good times roll.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So the first question is from a actual DSG team member and moderator on the channel. Cute little Chaos Kitty. She asks, how did it feel to hear yourself in the show game for the first time you watched and played the final product?
Well, it got easier over time to trust myself and trust my ability as I continued growing as an actor. But, you know, early on, it was always just like, you'd hear the line and immediately your brain would go, I wonder how I could have said that differently. Did I say it the right way? Could I have emphasized this a little better? But that was definitely true of Rivali and Breath of the Wild. Like, I metaphorically did not breathe until I saw what the audience response was to Rivali's performance. And then once they were like, oh my God, he's such a jerk, I love him. Then I was like,
breathe again, breathe again.
I can breathe, I can rest.
Yes,
But over time, it's gotten easier. We're like, now I'm in a much more content, comfortable position where I'm excited to get to talk about what I've been in. I'm excited to get to show it off. You know, if we're talking about Marvel's Avengers specifically, you know, there was one particular interaction I have with Tony Stark where, you know, I describe like a jazz solo and then I start like doing like that was also ad-libbed. I start ad-libbing the you know, like, so as soon as I did that, I was like, I cannot wait for people to get to hear that. So nowadays, it's definitely more of that vein of I'm having a lot more fun. I feel a lot more confident about myself as a performer, and I'm enjoying getting to play and then inviting people to come experience it with me. It's just a part of my personality that I've always been very interested in audience insight and responses, even though it's weird because as an individual, I don't rely a lot on the input of others to decide what's important to me. But I still really enjoy seeing how people react to things. So, you know, I will make these choices on my own, and then I enjoy bringing them to everyone else and saying, what did you think? You know, did you enjoy yourself? What was your favorite part? And it's something that I keep in mind in the future so that I can continue to adjust myself and my performances to do the best job that I can do.
Gotcha. Next question is from Sidad the Gamer. What are your top 5 favorite anime?
So my top 5 from the past, the ones that I kind of used as like a benchmark for all anime of the same genre, would have to be Fullmetal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop, Daily Lives of High School Boys, Cromartie High School, And I think the fifth one, this is kind of an oddball, but Gantz. Gantz was definitely a unique one, and it was very bloody. You know, it was very. It definitely pulled inspiration from Cowboy Bebop as well.
Yeah.
The new anime that I am a top 5 for. One of them is ReZero, and it's not because I'm in it. It's because it's genuinely a really good show. I swear to God, most of these or some of these I am also in, but I promise none of these picks are because I'm in them. I'm just very proud to be in them because of how good they are. Nice. So one is ReZero, 2 is Odd Taxi, which is a psychological thriller, kind of along the veins of Death Note, but just not as like whimsical, you know, like magical element sort of thing. It's just a very good watch for like interpersonal relationships. Komi Can't Communicate is one of the funniest comedic anime that I have seen in a long while. The timing of the animation, the use of visual gags on top of the dialogue, it's really, really good. And I recommend it to people. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, both versions of Fullmetal Alchemist are incredibly enjoyable. I recommend you watch them for different reasons. There's actually a channel on YouTube that breaks down how Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is better as a story, an overall world-building story. Fullmetal Alchemist, the original, is better as a character development arc focused on Edward Elric. Like his struggles, his growth into an adult. You don't get that same experience, that same focus on Edward Elric in Brotherhood. So that's why the original still has value in like the different perspective that it provides. And let's see, one more. That's 4 so far in the modern era. One more that I think is really worth watching. I'm gonna have to think about this. So just give me a minute. Like, why don't you guys tell me about the ones that you've been watching, and maybe I'll chime in if it's one that I'm a big fan of.
I'm actually not a big anime guy, but like I've
get the hell off the podcast. You know?
I should.
Bye.
Damn, that did me dirty. Oh my goodness, that's it, eh? Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was saying I've recently started watching Demon Slayer after getting like everyone to recommend it to me.
I was literally about to say, you know what? My 5th is Demon Slayer. And again, it's not because I'm in it. It's because from what I've seen of the show, I'm sure people who watched One Punch Man will know what I'm talking about. The level of love that they put into some of those visual animations for the strikes, the special abilities, just the way that they make the flames flicker or the water bubble up. It is fucking art.
Insane.
It is art. The same way that Persona 5 was art in game format, Demon Slayer is art as an anime. And I think that really encapsulates a different genre for each pick. You've got Odd Taxi for character interactions, you've got Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood for world building, you've got Komi Can't Communicate for comedy, you've got Demon Slayer for like artistic value. There's just there's so many good choices.
Yes, indeed. Our friend Jay Shock Blast. He says, "Who wins in the fight between Noob, Sidad, and Spider-Man?"
Ooh.
Probably Spider-Man, just because. First of all, I think he would win by pissing off Noob Saibot enough that he would just leave. He would stay far away. He wouldn't actually try to hurt Noob Saibot. He would just keep shooting webs in his face, just nonstop. Just be like, I can't hear you, man. Your mouth is all, it's all. And just like constantly making quips, and then Noob Saibot is just here trying to sound vicious, trying to make one-liners, and Spider-Man is just like, buddy, like, wow, what edge? I'm gonna go back and play Shadow the Hedgehog on my GameCube. That's so hardcore. And he's just gonna get so annoyed that when he fails to kill Spider-Man, he's gonna be like,
"I'm not finished with you yet. I'll come back stronger than ever."
And then disappears. And Spider-Man's like, "All right, bye, goodbye, baby."
Oh no! Oh my God! If you can answer this, I'm not sure if you can. I know NDAs and all of that, but if you can, what character are you looking forward to voice acting for the next if you haven't mentioned it yet.
So generally, it's not about something I can talk about because as passionate as I am, if I'm allowed to talk about it, I've already been doing it on social media. But the one that I've been telling people to look forward to is Shun Imai in Odd Taxi because if you like my natural energy right now, but you ever wanted to see what this is like when applied to fantasizing over an idol and just being like their favorite lapdog. Shuni Mai is like the perfect pure-hearted boy in Odd Taxi, and it's something that I'm going to be really proud of. That's really the big one that's coming up. Let me see if there's on my because I have a resume that I keep tabs on that has all the roles I can't talk about yet. Let's see that one I got to talk about that one. That one's going to be pretty fun. That one I don't know. No. I'm not doing this as a joke. I'm like trying to go down the list and see if there's one that I can post about. There are two in particular that I'm looking forward to. One is because I really like the character arc that they go through, and the other is because it's part of a franchise that I think people might be fans of, whether it's a show or a game, but also because there's a moment in it when I get to get really intense. And if there's one thing that really helped me early on in my career, it was being able to like go full bore on shouting, screaming, aggression, not holding back anything. Like I was shameless when it came to just going to the upper ends of the spectrum in terms of intensity. And I'm really excited to get to show that scene to people when it's available. So
looking forward to it, boss. Looking forward to it. Last question from the members and the moderators. Do you put hot sauce on your popcorn?
I actually can't remember the last time that I had popcorn. I don't put hot sauce on my popcorn, but I do put a disgustingly concerning amount of movie theater butter on it. Like, I'm pretty sure if no one was looking, I'd be like this under the spigot, just like it's just the right amount of silky smooth. It's got a good flavor to it. I literally do that thing with the bucket where I'll take a second box and I'll pour it out. I'll put like one layer in of popcorn, drizzle butter on top of it. Put another layer of popcorn, drizzle more butter on top of it. And then I mix all of that up. Like by the time I come out of the theater, I'm not actually walking on my feet. I'm just sliding on all fours across the carpet. I'm like one of those robo dogs that the police use. I'm just like, you know. So,
oh my god.
No, but that is that. I would put that shit on anything. Like I would put movie theater butter on the hot sauce and then drink the hot sauce. So.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's intense.
Wow. Okay. Let me see. Give me 2.5 seconds.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Peter Parker would find a way to integrate the movie theater butter into his web shooting before he fought Noob Saibot. And then would just like slick the ground around Noob Saibot. He's like, you having trouble staying there, man? Wish you had a little spider web powers.
Oh my god. Do you just a quick question, last question, I'm sorry. Do you watch any Dragon Ball Z or did you watch any Dragon Ball Z?
I tried, but like I had this amazing habit of being able to watch all 25 build-up episodes and then missing the actual fight itself.
Oh,
so
God.
And
like
I mean, this might lose me credit or it might earn me credit. I did own a copy of DBZ Kai when that first came out, but I traded it to a friend in exchange for a new copy of Mega Man Command Mission. So,
okay. I mean, I don't blame you though, because like back when
I blame him. I'm a Dragon Ball fan, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
even
if
if Doomkiller wanted to hurt me because of that, I've got at least 50 episodes of build up before he gets to my
Dragon Ball.
He's gonna give me like a 15-minute speech about like how wrong I am, and this whole time I'm gonna just like relocate.
The absolute worst part of Dragon Ball back when it used to be on TV was that it used to get to the point, I think it was like right before, it was either right before or right after the Cell games, and then it would just start over again. Like it always used to do that where I live. So I never got past that point. And it wasn't until I was older and like had access to like all the computers and internet and stuff. And I was like, oh, I actually know what happens after it now. Because like, yeah, it used to be like this point, let's start all the way back. And it's just like, oh my God. And like, to me, it was like such a absolute
on the last
crime.
150 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, Ash Ketchum and the group are going to Pallet Town to collect their first Pokemon.
Bro,
Brutal, so brutal.
I can't. Sean, this is a segment where we play a little bit of Would You Rather. I'm sure as a kid you played Would You Rather, so you know how this goes. I don't need.
This is either going to go very well or very badly.
Oh, depends.
Oh shit. Okay. Aquaman or Neymar?
Who is Neymar again? Hold on.
Wait.
Okay, Aquaman. Definitely Aquaman.
This is how we're starting. Okay. PC
I'm sorry. Neymar looks like Dracula went to sleep in his coffin and then someone pushed it off a pier to the bottom of the ocean and he just woke up and went, well, this is my life now. Instead of transforming into a bat, he just turns into a fucking manta ray with teeth.
Fuck. Okay. PC gaming or console gaming?
Oh, this is hard. I would say I would say PC gaming because in this day and age, it's very important to be politically correct. So PC gaming is just where it's no. No. PC gaming because playing console games is not as fun as buying Steam games on discount and then imagining how much fun I'll have when I actually play them, even though I'm going to die long before I even load up the tutorial screen.
Yup, I'm with you.
Hamburgers or hot dogs?
Hamburgers, definitely. I'm sorry. Hot dogs are hamburgers. You can layer all the toppings that you want, and then you can cut it in half. You can store it for later. Hot dogs, you put a different condiment on each side, and then you're like soaking the hot dog, and now it's like part of the bread. And who even knows what those hot dogs are made of? Listen, anything that Costco gives you for 50 cents just to get you in their store probably is not going to be better than a burger.
Whiskey or rum?
I hate both of them, to be honest. However, I have had butterscotch rum that was so good that you tasted more of the butterscotch than the rum. I drank like 6 shots of that and got blasted off my ass. And normally I hate the taste of rum, and I loved it. So I would definitely have to say rum.
Justice League or Avengers?
Justice League, only because I like seeing Superman suffer because he's too perfect.
Oh, yes.
Superman fans. They're going to be all in your DMs, sir.
He's too perfect, man. We got to knock him down a couple dozen pegs. And if it involves killing his grandma over and over again, then so be it.
Let's just do it, right? All right, you ready for this one?
Are you?
No. Tom Holland Spider-Man or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you're an asshole.
Pretty much.
Okay. As a result of No Way Home, I have to pick Andrew Garfield because seeing that film made me realize how much I identify with Andrew Garfield. There was an article that came out that I'm assuming, or I'm hoping this is true, that line in the film where he goes, "Hold on, you guys, I love you. Like, this is so cool." Like, that is my energy. That is, I would be the person just like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, we may die, but I'm so happy to be here doing this with you guys. And just because the movie that he was in might not have been that good does not mean that as a character, as a Spider-Man, that he didn't embody a very real part of that character that I can identify. A good superhero is someone that the audience can empathize with, that they can connect to. I can connect to Andrew Garfield better than I can connect to Tom Holland. That's not saying Tom Holland is a worse Spider-Man. It's just that for me, I identify with Andrew Garfield. If I were Spider-Man, I would be closer to him than I would be to Tom. So,
you know what? I'm throwing a monkey wrench in this. Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire?
pizza.
I can't do it.
No, Tobey Maguire for the personality. I'm sorry. Andrew Garfield for the personality. Tobey Maguire if I actually needed someone to save my ass.
Okay.
Damn.
If I was gonna die either way, if there was no chance in hell that I was gonna make it out alive, I'd rather it be Andrew Garfield that I chat with before I fucking die. But if there was any chance of saving me, Tobey Maguire is the only one I would put my faith in.
He said he don't want to be Gwen Stacy, y'all. He do not want to be Gwen Stacy.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. He just doesn't have the spine, and neither did she.
Okay, Doctor Strange or Dr. Fate?
Doctor Strange or Doctor who?
Fate?
Dr. Fate?
Yeah,
I think that's
DC's Doctor Strange. Guy with the gold helmet does the magic for the Justice League.
This man paid $300 for downloadable content in his MMORPG and wants to call himself a superhero. Doctor Strange, no question.
Wow, that was harsh. Doc Ock or Green Goblin?
Depends. As characters or based on the actors who play them? Actually, you know what? That doesn't matter. Peter Molina's Dr. Octopus.
Ooh, nice. Thor or Shazam?
Shazam, only because I did the announcer voice for a product that he was a part of.
Okay. Well, you got money off of that. I respect it. I got a question for you, and High Ruler is about to faint. You ready?
Okay.
Oh, no.
Haley Steinfeld or Florence Pugh?
Pizza. All right, I'm gonna look up these names. Haley Steinfeld or who?
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh. Okay, Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop in the new Hawkeye TV show, and Florence Pugh was the newest Black Widow from the Black Widow movie. The blonde Black Widow. Florence
Pugh. Florence Pugh has the letter pug or the word pug in her last name, and her face kind of looks like one. So I'm gonna go with Haley Steinfeld.
My God. I cannot with you, Sean, dude. Like, you're really killing me right now. Thank you for playing Would You Rather. Oh, my God. Ooh. I can't, dude. I really can't. This is everybody's favorite part of the show that's about to happen. So I'll explain it to you really quick. It's called Fire or Trash. And that's the only thing you can answer to the questions.
Doom is fire, High Ruler is trash.
Wow.
I mean,
No. But hold on, I'm not finished yet. But I have trash taste, so I'm friends with High Ruler.
I'll take it.
I love it. You guys in the chat, y'all already know what happens right here. You have literally 30 seconds to share this video. Share it with somebody you like. Share it with somebody you don't like. Share it with a girl you want to smash. Share it with a dude you want to smash. Just share this goddamn video right now.
Pass.
What's shaking, people? It's your boy Doom Killer HD. Sit back and relax. You are now rocking with the best. And welcome to another segment of Fire or Trash, where we take your favorite YouTube or Twitch streamer, content creator, and ask them a series of questions really fast. The only thing they can answer is fire or trash. Fire or trash, fire or trash. The only thing you can answer to the questions I ask. Fire or trash, fire or trash. The only thing you can answer to the questions I ask. Fire
only say one word as an answer to a question is going to be the hardest challenge I've faced so far.
Well, Sean, that is the only thing you can answer.
All right. Am I allowed to take my time saying fire or trash? Or I gotta. All right. All right.
Fire.
All right. I'm eyes closed. I'm using my spidey sense for this.
That works perfectly. You
All right.
ready?
Yep.
Free to play mobile games.
Fire.
Pizza with pineapple.
Trash.
Lower back tattoos.
Fire.
Metallica.
Fire.
WandaVision.
Fire.
Lord of the Rings.
Fire.
Book of Boba Fett.
Fire. No, trash.
Oh, okay. Final season of Game of Thrones.
Trash. Trash fire.
The entirety of the MCU.
Fire.
Glory holes.
Fire.
Oh, shit!
How do you think I got this job?
I'm not coming back. I really just
Listen, buddy. I sucked, so the performance didn't.
Taking one for the team right there. Oh, Jesus.
I had to regenerate my webbing somehow.
Sean, dude.
I'm glad he didn't put his headphones on. But when I
Yeah,
said
for that one,
again.
that would have been it for him. He honestly probably would have just ended the show after that.
Bro.
Oh, man.
I want to end the show right now because you literally just sent me fucking.
Yeah.
flying,
The movie version was Tom Holland. I was just Tom Holla. Holla at your boy. Call me over. MCU is just cum spelled a different way.
Sadistic kitten, come get your friend. Oh my god. Kitten, come get your friend, dude. Oh my god. Oh shit.
Please bleep that out.
There's no bleeping here, Sean.
This is all live.
Now, bro. I love this, dude. Oh god.
Shit.
Like, I really don't even. We got a whole half a segment left, dude. I don't even know.
I don't know how you continue on after that. Like,
why?
Come on, man, you gotta have the stamina.
Hit it with his chest.
This is why glory holes are fire, man. That's how you build it up.
Oh my god. Okay, my heart is just going right now. I can't. Okay, let's kick this vibe section going real quick, guys.
All right.
Let's just vibe, guys.
All right.
Oh my god.
Oh, is that it for fire and trash? Or we?
Yes, you're done, bro. You are beyond done.
I'm just done on this podcast, not on this career.
This man said it with his chest, yo. He said fire. I cannot, dude. Okay, Sean, if you could voice any character that you've seen before, heard or watched on TV or whatnot, what character would you be like, please let me voice him?
In video games, I don't know if it's possible anymore, but like I said, I'm a huge fan of dungeon crawlers, and this is really basic, but in most of those games, you create your party, and you can often choose like their looks, their voice type, stuff like that. I would really enjoy being a male voice type for a game like Etrian Odyssey or a first-person dungeon crawler, just so that there's a chance when you create your party that I can be there as an adventurer in your group, helping you to survive all of these really difficult boss fights, going into all these different lands. In anime, I forget the name of it, but there's this anime where it's a magical girl anime, but whenever the girl transforms, she becomes this really buff dude. And I want to voice the guy that she transforms into when she does her magical girl transformation.
Okay. What are you listening to these days as far as music? Like, you're about to get ready for a podcast like this one. You just got out the shower and you want to, relax to some music. What are you bumping, boss?
The sound of you slowly collapsing every time I make a joke. No. Like, I just want this on a playlist. Just hit play. Like, Alexa, play that good shit. Playing that good shit.
I can't with you, dude. Shit, dude. My stomach
is not supposed to be hurting at this point. It's the live session.
You have a contagious laugh, dude. I love it. Anyway, I actually don't have a lot of time to myself anymore between voice acting and auditions and podcasts and interviews and my stream. When we think of music that I put on to listen for myself, I just don't have the time anymore. In fact, I've come to cherish the quiet that I have. We're going to be moving out of here by the end of the month, but both here and at our first house that we ever got, it's in a decent part of the neighborhood. You know, it's usually near a school or near a college. So like they enjoy their quiet time or there's families there. And just in the evening, it gets so quiet. I don't live in the city. I don't live in Burbank in Los Angeles. And I deliberately chose that because I didn't want to be surrounded by all this noise all the time. I like having my quiet time. And it would just be so calm and so quiet, and all you hear is like if it's windy outside or if it's raining. And I have straight up fallen asleep on the couch before because the sound of silence can be the most enjoyable thing sometimes.
It really can. Yeah, it really can. Okay. What's the best, if you have time? Because obviously you're a busy man, but if you have time, what was the best movie you saw in 2021? If you actually even saw any movies in 2021.
2021 specifically. This is a good question. God, I know I saw movies in 2021. I just don't remember what movies I saw. That's the problem.
Gotcha.
They were solid, but there was a friend whose house I visited, and we saw it was an anime film about chat. I need you to help me out here. It was an anime film about the rebirth of the world, and it involved a bunch of sea creatures. It wasn't Luca. It was like, if you think of like Hayao Miyazaki, there was this kid who was supposed to be the seed that would like, manage to impregnate like the mother of the universe and like rebirth the world. Anyway, we did some salvia right before that, and we spent about 2 hours. We spent about 2 hours just vibing, because I gotta tell you, like the last 30-45 minutes of that anime or of that film is Stanley Kubrick, a space odyssey levels of just don't try to understand it, just fucking veg out.
Just
man.
go with it.
So I don't even know if that was the movie or me, but I was just relaxing and chilling, and we just had a decent time. We cuddled, and that was the best part. So.
Nice.
Oh man.
Well, for the ladies in the chat, Mr. Sonic Mega, the ladies seem to love you right now, boss. Describe your perfect date.
Glory hole. Sorry, ladies. Dudes, if you're interested, I know a good place. Anyway.
Come on.
No, that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do, Doomkiller. When we're done at the date, that's what you just said, Doom. That's what they'll do at the end of the date. Anyway. A good date. Oh, man. So I think that's why I'm so lucky to have the wife that I have, is because I'm a very self-sufficient person. And so like my idea of fun is typically stuff that I can entertain myself with, because I don't want to bother anyone else. I don't want to intrude on their life. We're all busy people. We're trying to get by, especially in this economy. But for me, it's really just a matter of, hey, if there's a co-op game that you want to do, I'm interested in that. I'm definitely more of a follower when it comes to like date ideas. It's like, hey, what are you interested in? Do you want to go bowling? Do you want to go see a movie? Like whatever it is that you're enthusiastic about, I want you to do something that's going to be fun for you. It's easy for me to have fun with it. I can find reasons to enjoy what I'm doing. So on the negative side, that can come off as, oh, he doesn't make choices for himself. He always needs other people to make the decisions for him. No, I know what I enjoy. They just tend to not involve other people. So This is your chance to get to share a part of your life with me and not feel like you have to prove that it's something that is interesting. You don't have to worry about, oh, are they going to have fun with this? Are they going to think it's stupid? Are they going to think I'm lame? Just tell me what you enjoy, and I will be passionate about it with you.
That's awesome.
Even if it's glory holes. Then I'll kick your ass at that.
Okay, the last question that I have, and I think Hyrule may have one or two for you. The last one I have is, who would you say is your biggest inspiration in life, period, boss?
You, Doom Killer. You.
That's a great
Look at
answer.
that. Look at that. You got you're shameless about your passions, you're creative in your pursuits. You managed to put together this podcast. You've got great transitions on your scenarios. You're someone who knows what they want out of their creativity and puts it to use. And people like you are what inspire us to be creative, because you are proof that if you are willing to commit the time and effort, that you can make something great.
I'm about to make me freaking cry on podcast, bro. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Like, don't do that, dog. Don't do that.
But you know, as that's actually half serious of an answer, even though it's also a half joke of an answer. I would say creatives, creative people like you, because good things happen when really passionate people come together. I've just found that in the industry and in life, when everyone working on something is enjoying what they're doing, is passionate about it, and wants to do the best job that they can do, you end up with some really great stuff. And so, you know, I may be an entertaining guest on this podcast, but the only reason this podcast exists in the first place is because people like you and Hyrule, you know, came together, said, this is what we want to do, here's how we're going to organize it, and made it exist in the first place. So don't sell yourself short. It's not just a good guest that makes for a good podcast. It's a good atmosphere that allows that kind of camaraderie, that kind of comedy, that kind of back and forth conversation to happen.
Man, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Well,
and also the 250 that you're going to send me for answering these questions after the podcast.
That always helps.
We don't want people to know. We don't want.
You can stand to upgrade your glory hole, though. I didn't enjoy it last time.
Rula, you had any questions before we throw you into the rules?
You know, actually, I got a couple, I think. So, like, a lot of people are asking, like, about your Twitch and stuff. Like, what games do you find enjoyable, not just to stream, but, like, for you to play by yourself and then to stream and interact with an audience and so on and so forth?
I have always been a really big fan of games that have, like, skill trees where, like, you know, you can choose to focus on a particular skill to make it stronger, or if there's, like, prerequisites that allow you to access something else, especially if the game lets you see the entire tree ahead of time, and then you can kind of plan what path you want to take with your party or with the specific character. That is a huge reason why I'm such a big fan of Etrian Odyssey. But also, for those who missed it, yesterday we finished my first ever Nuzlocke run of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Actually, Hyrule, it was embarrassing. The hardest part of the Elite Four was the first guy, Aaron, the bug user. I swept Cynthia with a Bibarel. I'm dead serious. I'm uploading the VODs today, but I had a specific plan in mind, and her first Pokemon kept trying to sucker punch me while I was boosting my stats, so it wasn't doing any damage. And then by the time I finally started going, I was max attack, max defenses, max speed, and I steamrolled through her entire party. Everyone survived the Elite Four. So my big two are definitely anything with skill trees where I can plan a party out ahead of time, or anything with collectible creatures or monsters that battle alongside you. Now, that's why I'm not as big a fan of Pokemon as, say, you know, games that let you summon familiars like Final Fantasy or like Tree of Savior. There is a difference between if you battle using a team of monsters and if you battle alongside a team of monsters. But I do enjoy both of them for different reasons.
Have you played the new Pokemon, the Legends?
I've seen it, and I feel like I might enjoy it, but I don't have the time for it. I just don't. Between the games that I'm interested in, like I'm very addicted to Bloons Tower Defense 6 right now. So if you want help, I could use help with the boss event that's going on right now. I'm basically entirely free to play on that. But just outside of my backlog and the games that I'm already playing on stream, like, it's the same reason I never got around to Breath of the Wild, even though I voiced in it. You know, I am someone who has to be able to do a game consistently after he starts it. Because if I step back from it and I go like 2 weeks without touching it and then I come back to it, I am going to have no goddamn idea where I am or what I'm supposed to be doing, and I might as well just start over. And Arceus looks like one of those games where it's like, unless you've got the time to set aside, don't do it. And between moving to a new house and my career continuing to build and doing the interviews like this and my streams, It's just not happening. It's not.
No, I hear you. Okay, so one question here, and I gotta, ask this for all the Spider-Man fans in here. There's a lot of debate with Spider-Man fans about, when does Spider-Man get to be happy? As someone who's, played the character now, how do you view Spider-Man as being always miserable and fans enjoying that misery versus Spider-Man getting the chance to be happy and kind of building his life? Like, how do you view all of that just for, kind of shits and giggles?
There is a scenario. I was asked a somewhat similar question, and I came up with this scenario that I feel perfectly encapsulates the energy of Spider-Man. And it's called A Day at Disneyland, all right? Or Disney World. And the idea is that Spider-Man decides to take a day off and go to Disney World to just be a kid, to just be himself and enjoy the rides. Naturally, some shit goes down while he's at Disney World, and begrudgingly, he has to adopt the Spider-Man persona, like a ride breaks down or something like that. It's not like a villain, but like there is a safety issue. And he is the most well-equipped to save the people on that ride without any injuries happening. So he saves them. And he's still feeling downtrodden because, like, God damn it, I just wanted a day to myself. I wanted a day where I could just be Peter Parker, and once again, I had to become Spider-Man. I don't regret that I saved those people, but whatever. And one of the people that he saved is, like, super, super grateful. They're like, oh my God, Spider-Man, you saved me. You saved my family. We could have lost somebody. We could have lost my daughter. I'll do anything for you. What is it that you want? And Spider-Man goes, I could really go for a churro right now. And it cuts away, and at the end of it, Spider-Man is either just hanging upside down, chilling by himself, or he's hanging with the family around a churro cart, and they're all just biting into this fresh, hot, like with a caramel dipped churro. And it's the happiest that he's been all day. Because he got a churro for free, or he got like a whole bucket of churros and he didn't have to pay for them. And that, to me, is pure Spider-Man. It is this idea that he has to take on these massive responsibilities, but at the end of the day is still capable of finding happiness in the simplest things. Because he just has.
I'm sorry, I had to.
I mean, if you're gonna feed me a churro through a glory hole, I mean, I don't mind. Like,
I'd get on my knees for that one, to be honest with you. So,
only if it's one of the sour green apple ones that they have at like Disneyland, that they sell at like Tomorrowland or something like that. But that to me is the energy. Is that what makes him so relatable? Is that he has to take on such tough obligations, yet somehow still finds a way to enjoy the simple things. And not needing massively expensive, massively popular, like huge, unrealistic things to keep himself ingrained, to keep himself stable, is what makes it easier for us to relate to him, because we're like, hey, sometimes for us, all we need is the life equivalent of just a fresh hot churro for us to have a reason to go on. And that's him.
Perfect. Doom, I'm good, man. I got the Spider-Man answer for all the fans out there. I'm good, man.
Sweet. Well, Mr. Sean, Mr. Chiplock, aka Spider-Man, Noob, Cybot. It is time that we throw you to the wolves, which means we will be removing ourselves from the screen. You get to be by yourself and just tell the people whatever it is on your mind, my guy. Have fun.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, hey, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed my performance. I hope that I've proven to you that I'm very passionate about what I do, even if I don't happen to be perfect every single time. If you want to check out my stuff, my Twitter is twitter.com/sonicmega. That's where all of my shit posting and reflections and role announcements go. If you'd be interested in seeing me get mad at video games, my Twitch stream is twitch.tv/sonicmega. Our lineup right now is we have AI, the Somnium Files. We have Demon Gaze Extra, which is a dungeon crawler, one of my favorites of all time. And we'll be moving on to Demon Gaze 2 after that. We've got Shadowverse Champions Battle if you want to see me get very angry at card games. And then we have community events, like we have Multiplayer Mondays. This Monday is going to be Gardic Phone. And coming up in April, we're going to be doing a community live dub of the entirety of Ace Attorney 3, with auditions getting posted at some point in March. other than that, I if you enjoyed what you saw here, I hope that you can take some of that same passion and bring it with you into whatever you do in life. Basically everything I said about being self-driven, about being committed, about being personable, about being focused, doesn't just apply to voice acting. It applies to life in general. And I just, as long as you are willing to do what you love and you're willing to put the time and effort in, I am confident that you can make a living off of it, and that you will naturally end up associating with people who will help you get better and better at what you love and have fun while doing it. So yeah, I'm glad that I could be an entertainer for you guys today. Hey, if there's a convention that's near you that you'd like to have me at, please reach out to the staff. Show them the better parts of this podcast, the more appropriate, family-friendly parts of this podcast, and tell them I want Sean Shiplock at my event. It helps me because I get to actually have a vacation. This kind of career does not give me breaks, but getting to hang out with people at cons is the closest thing I get to personal time. It helps me build my finances because I get to sell prints, and selling prints was a huge part of what allowed us to make a down payment on our home. And it's not the kind of thing that I can invite myself to. The convention has to have proof that they will sell tickets if they invite me as a guest. So if you enjoy this, if you'd like to meet me in person, if you'd like to hang out, please consider reaching out to your local event staff and saying, I would love if you could bring Sean Shiplock to the next event that you host this year or next year or whatever. So with that being said, can the doctors please come back and catch me up?
Dude, that was one of the best throw you to the wolves we've had yet, man. You just killed it, boss. Thank you, and thank you. This segment of the show, we like to take a smaller content creator, maybe for you, maybe like one of your smaller voice actor friends, and put them on the map. Just let people know somebody who may just need a bump, a boost or whatnot. This is kind of what we do here. So
I would say two of my artist friends, Color Brews, at Color Brews on Twitter, and Emmy Aine, Emiane, and then Color Brews is COLORBRE, WS, without the burp. They are artist friends of mine who are incredibly talented. I met them through different avenues. Color Brews I met as a result of Dragalia Lost, which we continue to do runs together to this day. Emmy Aine I met as a result, or grew closer to as a result of Maple Story 2, back when that was still a thing. And not only were they part of the group that basically got me through the pandemic emotionally, but they are incredibly talented artists that are just now beginning to build their audiences and get noticed by a wider degree of people than they currently have, which they fully deserve. And I think anyone that is looking for assets, for avatars, for emotes for their own streams, these two have been doing work for me month after month after month since I started doing my stream on Twitch, and I cannot recommend their services enough. They are passionate. They are incredible people. One of them is about to do a big move because they just landed a really good job that they were happy with. And I feel like if anyone deserves to have their artistic quality noticed and signal boosted, it is them. So
sounds good to me. Hi, Ruler, do your thing.
Yeah, I'm actually going to put an artist on the map too. She's actually doing a Twitch stream right now, doing a oil painting session from Chrono Trigger. I've never played Chrono Trigger, but the painting looks really cool. So it's twitch.tv/Vray. I don't know. My English sucks. It's VRAIX.
Okay.
Yeah, they're live right now doing a oil painting session. It looks really cool. So
sweet. And since we're doing artists, I might as well go ahead and put a DSG resident artist, Mr. Pro Logos, on the map. The guy has us looking as good as we look right now. All the stuff in the background, the Excelsior now pictures and artwork, that's all him at Pro Logos. Please definitely check my guy out. Brock, solid individual. Sean, this has been an awesome.
This has been
a great time.
A podcast.
Yes.
That's one way to put it.
Man, my stomach hit. Normally it's during the middle of the show, would you rather fire or trash? But literally, first question, bro, my stomach was hurting. That's awesome, bro. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad that I could bring some of the same energy that I brought to Spider-Man here to the podcast, and I hope I left you guys feeling even more convinced that I was one of the best choices for the role.
Nah, you are, dude. Like I'm telling you, the first when they debuted it and you hit that line, I'm telling you that line that Avengers Assemble, bad guys scatter. That was a wrap for me. You sold. That was a wrap, bro. You were sold for me. That was it. So again, thank you for taking your time. I know you're a super busy man, bro. We greatly appreciate it over here at the Excelsior Now podcast. Chat, it's been a great one. Hyrule, you got anything you want to say before we dip, bro?
Go Joe Burr. I think that's what I want to say. Anyways, that's it, Doom. I got nothing.
Bye, boy. Sean, anything you want to say before we get out of here, Captain?
May your life be filled with more glory than holes.
Oh my God, I love this man. Laissez les bon temps rouler, which means let the good times roll. Peace out, people.
Excelsior Now podcast.
Hey, go!